Ito ang 106.3 Dance Radio. Dance Radio.
Prepare yourself.
Ang silid-aralan sa radyo, hatid namin ay makabagong paraan ng pagtuturo at kalaman. Mapaumaga, tanghali o hapon man yan, ang istasyong magbibigay impormasyon kahit saan man.
Alright, here we go.
106.3 Dance Radio. Doña Aurora National High School, Santa Rita, Aurora, Isabela.
This
106.3 DWDR-FM. TLE, Technology and Livelihood Education. TLE, Learning Area, Automotive Servicing, Beauty Care, Electronics Product Assembly and Servicing, Cookery, Electrical Installation and Maintenance, Dressmaking, Computer System Servicing, mga leksyong pangkabuhayan, edukasyong, teknolohikal, mapapakinggan. Dito lang yan sa 106.3 Dance Radio. TLE, Learn and Earn.
Hello po. Good afternoon, Ma'am Malbe and Ma'am Dandit.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Ay, wala siya. Nag-start.
Maylin?
Hello, Ma'am Dandit and Ma'am Malbe. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. At good afternoon po sa lahat ng ating avid listeners and viewers na naka-tune in ngayon sa ating Facebook Live and syempre sa ating YouTube channel. Syempre, hindi rin mawawala ang ating mga listeners sa ating radio. Parang meron merong nagsabi na dito mahina, pero stay tuned lang po. And then, kukunin ko na rin po yung time na to para mag-thank you sa ating ESP Learning Area dahil po nung Wednesday dapat itong ating live pero binigay nila sa atin yung kanilang isla. Thank you so much po ESP Learning Area. And then shout out din po sa aking 8 lavender, 8 purple, and 8 tangerine. Ganon din po sa mga nakaantabay na aking Beauty Care 9B and Cookery 9B. Stay tuned po.
Okay, good afternoon sa mga hawak ko ding section. Of course, ang 7 Del Pilar, Jacinto and Lapu-Lapu, ang 8 Crimson, ang 10 Cookery E and Cookery F, and of course, yung advisory class ko na 10 Tanggile. And good afternoon also to all our department heads, Ma'am Jackie, Ma'am Emily, Ma'am Annabelle, Ma'am Ophel, Ma'am Merly, Sir Leo, Sir Ferdy, and to our head teacher, Sir Jefferson Aguinaldo.
Yes, of course. Good afternoon din po sa ating Assistant Principal, Ma'am Ruby Guillermo, and to our very fatherly Chief Education Supervisor, Officer in Charge, Sir Rodrigo B. Pascua. Shout out din sa aking mga anak, 7 Luna, 7 Mabini, 8 Aquamarine, Ivory, and sa aking mga 10 cookery. At sa lahat po ng ating mga viewers and listeners, ay shout out din pala kay Kuya Joses at Ate Lyra. Keep safe po sa ating lahat. Ma'am Malbe and Ma'am Dandit, talagang kailangan nating mag-ingat ngayon, safe tayo dapat palagi, lalo na sa pagbiyahe ninyo dito pauwi at as well as sa papunta dyan sa school.
Yes, Ma'am Maylin, tama ka dyan. We need to be careful always to avoid accident.
That's right, ma'am. Siyempre, hindi lang yung accident yung kailangan nating i-avoid, ma'am. Marami pa. At lalo na ngayon, pandemic, kailangan nating mag-ingat talaga. Kagaya nga ng sinabi ni Ma'am Maylin sa ating pag-travel, ganun din sa'yo, Ma'am Maylin, na nandyan sa inyong tahanan. So, we must think safe, work safe, and be safe always.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ma'am Malbe and Ma'am Dandit. Keeping ourselves safe is to avoid, of course, accident. Ano-ano nga ba ang ating pasabog ngayon, Ma'am Malbe?
Yes, ma'am. So, those who will be the first one to answer our questions correctly, ito yung mga hinihintay ng ating mga learners, will receive prizes from, syempre, Ma'am Maylin. Make sure to follow our mechanics. So, napakadali nito. You will only use hashtag usapang TLE and include your grade and section and then your answer. By the way, Ma'am Maylin, what are the objectives of our lesson for today?
Yes, thank you, Ma'am Malbe. Yes, ma'am. Our topic for today is identify hazards and risks. And our objectives are I defined hazard and risk, identify the types of hazards and risks, and appreciate the value of identifying hazards and risks in the workplace.
Okay, so yan mga anak ha. Pakinggan na natin ang ating RBI. Makinig kayo mabuti para mas maintindihan nyo ang ating lesson sa araw na ito.
Dance Radio, silid-aralan sa radyo, hatid namin makabago, paraan ang pagtuturo.
Wala nang makakapigil pa. Sulong Arangkada 106.3 Dance Radio sa Aurora, Isabela.
Edukasyo'y susulong, basta na magtulong-tulong, sulong edukalidad. Dance Radio, learning is amazing.
TLE, Technology and Livelihood Education.
TLE Learning Area.
TLE Learning Area.
Automotive Servicing.
Beauty Care.
Electronic Products Assembly and Servicing.
Cookery.
Electrical Installation and Maintenance.
Dressmaking.
Computer System Servicing.
Mga leksyong pangkabuhayan. Edukasyong teknolohikal.
Matutunghayan dito sa
106.3
Dance Radio. TLE Learning Area.
Technology and Livelihood Education.
Learn and earn.
Good day, our dear listeners, especially to grade 8 students. This is your school on the air and it's TLE time. I hope you are now on your most comfortable place. We are glad to be with you. Make it a habit to tune in here in our station 106.3 DWDR FM Dance Radio. I am your host for today, Teacher Joy L. Madamba from Doña Aurora National High School. Enjoy your lesson and activities for today. If you have any questions about your lesson, you can text or call us at 0975-193-2103 for DM and 0918-676-9475 for Smart. Or you can send it through the email address and messenger account of your teacher that can be seen in your kit. Let us review. In our previous lesson titled Store Tools and Equipment, we are given information about storing tools and equipment. Why do we need to maintain proper storage and maintenance of tools and equipment? We need to maintain proper storage and maintenance of tools and equipment so that We can easily find the tools we need and we can use tools for a long period of time. We must select proper tool for the job and use the tool properly. This will increase efficiency and will reduce maintenance problems. An inventory record is also a great help because sometimes it is hard to identify and we cannot memorize a huge number of tools and equipment in the workshop. Let us now start with our discussion for today. May I introduce to you your radio teacher, Teacher Rufino R. Pomeda Jr. Of the TLE Learning Area. One with DepEd's goal, Sulong Edukalidad.
Good day, my dear grade 8 students, and also to those who are listening right now. I am your radio teacher for today, Teacher Rufino R. Pomeda Jr.
Teacher Rufino R. Pomeda Jr.
Do you want to be safe always? Yes! All of us need to be safe at all times for us to be secure in everything we do. Keep ourselves safe is to avoid accidents. We must think safe, work safe, and be safe. As we go through the discussion, you are expected to identify hazards and risks. So, are you ready? Yes! Also, consider this saying. Tomorrow is the reward for working safely today. Let's get started. You have with you your learning activity sheet 7 for this week, which is titled Identify Hazards and Risks.
Identify hazards and risks.
Do you know the meaning of hazard? How about risk? As we go through the discussion, we will find the answers to our questions. A hazard is something that can cause harm, while risk is the chance or the probability that a person will be harmed and experience an adverse health effect once exposed in a hazard. There are examples of hazards like electricity, chemicals, noise, and even stress. On the other hand, an example of risk is when one is having an electrical repair and someone accidentally turned on the power. The worker's life will be in high risk category. We will be right back after this break.
Facts about COVID-19. What is COVID-19? COVID-19 is a disease caused by a new strain of coronavirus. What are symptoms of COVID-19? Symptoms can include fever, cough, and shortness of breath. In more severe cases, infection can cause pneumonia or breathing difficulties. How can we prevent COVID-19? To prevent the spread of COVID-19, clean your hand often. Maintain a safe distance. Wear masks when physical distancing is not possible. Don't touch your eyes, nose, or mouth. Cover your nose and mouth with your bent elbow or a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Stay home when you feel unwell, and if you have a fever, cough, and difficulty breathing, seek medical attention.
This health advisory is brought to you by World Health Organization, Doña Aurora National High School, and this station.
TLE,
Technology and Livelihood Education.
TLE Learning Area,
TLE Learning Area.
Automotive Servicing,
beauty care,
electronic products assembly and servicing,
cookery,
electrical installation and maintenance,
dressmaking,
computer system servicing,
mga leksyong pangkabuhayan, edukasyong teknolohikal.
matutunghayan dito sa
106.3 Dance Radio.
TLE Learning Area.
Technology and Livelihood Education.
Learn and earn.
Kayo nakikinig sa TLE Grade 8 kasama si Teacher Rufino R. Pomeda Jr.
We are back! Let's continue with our discussion. There are 5 basic workplace hazards. First, chemical hazards. These include liquids such as cleaners, acids and paints, vapors and fumes such as welding fumes, gases such as carbon monoxide, and products that can catch fire or explode. If you are working with chemical products, bleaches, paints, and other chemical agents, you need to understand what a chemical hazard is, as well as how to protect yourself. Chemical is one of the most critical hazards. Chemical may produce reactions that may endanger one's health and life. This is the reason why the American Conference of Governmental Hygienists, or ACGIH, established a threshold limit value, or TLV. TLV is the term used by the ACGIH to express the airborne concentration of a material to which nearly all persons can be exposed day after day without adverse health effects. Second is the physical hazards. These are factors or conditions within the environment that can harm your health. These include machinery, electrical power, noise, power, working and walking surfaces, tripped and fall hazards, ladders and scaffolds, heat and cold, and also ventilation. People working within an industry or doing the same type of work are exposed to specific physical hazards in the workplace. These are some common body stressing injuries like sprains and strains of muscles, ligaments, nerve injuries or compression, and others. Why do we need to be careful about ticks, mouse droppings, bird poop, and wild animals? Because you might get sick working around certain animals, including people. That pertains to our third basic workplace hazard, which is biological hazards. Biological hazards include bacteria, viruses, insects, plants, birds, animals, and humans. The risk run from skin irritation and allergies to infections. So, we must be careful, particularly nowadays, because of the pandemic known as COVID-19 virus. Protect ourselves by wearing face mask and face shield. Always wash our hands and sanitize, and maintain social distancing. Be safe and stay safe. Dangers also come from uncleaned restrooms, molds and fungus, and poorly stored medical wastes. Now, For the fourth basic workplace hazard, we have ergonomic hazard.
Ergonomic hazard.
This happens when you are working for a long period of time in an awkward position on having the same motion over and over again. Other instances, if you are exposed for a long period of time with your computer screens that can affect your eyesight. Having an uncomfortable chair that causes your back pains, or if you are working with poor lighting, you cannot work as fast as you can because of the poor supply of lights in your workplace. If your job is poorly designed, you can develop long-term health problems. We will return after this reminder.
Flashlight, check. Baterya, check. Radyo, check. Gamot, check. Delata, check. Ano pa kayang kulang sa aking survival kit?
O sis, anong ginagawa mo? Aanin mo ang mga yan.
Narinig ko kasi ang balita sa radyo na may paparating na bagyo sis. Kailangan nating paghandaan ito.
Ha? Ganun ba? Hindi ko narinig ang balita na yan.
Naku sis, dapat ay alerto tayo sa mga ganitong balita. Alam naman nating mahirap kalaban ng kalamidad.
Ay oo nga, sinabi mo pa sis. Sige, uwi na ako. Sisiguraduhin kong handa ang pamilya ko sa darating na bagyo.
Tandaan, hindi maiwasan ang pagdating ng mga kalamidad. Kinakailangan maghanda para sa ating kaligtasan upang sa huli ay di natin pagsisisihan. Ligtas ang may alam.
Isang paalala mula sa himpilang ito.
TLE,
Technology and Livelihood Education.
TLE Learning Area,
TLE Learning Area.
Automotive Servicing,
Beauty Care.
Electronic Products Assembly and Servicing,
Cookery.
Electrical Installation and Maintenance,
Dressmaking.
Computer System Servicing,
Mga leksyong pangkabuhayan. Edukasyong teknolohikal.
matutunghayan dito sa
106.3
Dance Radio. TLE Learning Area,
Technology and Livelihood Education.
Learn and Earn.
Kayo nakikinig sa TLE Grade 8. Kasama si Teacher Rufino R. Pomeda Jr.
Let us continue. The fifth basic workplace hazard is the psychological hazard. This kind of hazard troubles an individual very much to the extent that his general well-being is affected. Stress is an example of psychological hazard. Headaches, anxiety, and impatience are early signs of stress. Workplace causes stress include heavy workloads, lack of control over the pace of work, shift work, noise, working by yourself, fear of job loss, and conflict with the employer. Is knife considered a hazard? Yes! Knife is an example of a hazard because it can cause harm like cuts. Another is wet floor. This can cause slips and falls. So, clean up spills immediately. How about electricity? Yes, it can cause shock or electrocution. Benzene is another example of hazard. Why? That is correct. It can cause leukemia. Benzene is odorless, flammable liquid with a sweet odor. It evaporates quickly when exposed to air. Benzene is also a natural part of crude oil and gasoline as well as cigarette smoke. Leukemia is a blood cancer caused by rise in number of white blood cells in your body. Those white blood cells crowd out the red blood cells and platelets that your body needs to be healthy. Another kind of hazard is asbestos. It is a natural mineral and carcinogen that causes mesothelioma. The common way of asbestos fiber to enter the body is through breathing. Mesothelioma is a malignant tumor that is caused by inhaled asbestos fibers and forms in the lining of the lungs, abdomen, or heart. Symptoms can include shortness of breath and chest pain. Another example is welding. This can cause metal fume fever. Hard rock mining is also a kind of hazard that causes silicosis. Silicosis is a form of occupational lung disease caused by inhalation of crystalline silica dust. It is marked by inflammation and scarring in the form of nodular lesions in the upper lobes of the lungs. It is a type of pneumoconiosis. Do we need to know these things? Yes! We must keep ourselves safe at all times and not to engage with such hazards so that our health will not be in critical condition and our lives will not be at risks. Stay safe, dear learners. We will return after this reminder.
Amazing tips sa pag-aaral ngayong new normal.
Una, matulog sa tamang oras. Siguraduhin mula 7 hanggang 8 oras ang iyong pagtulog.
Sapat na iyan upang gumana ng maayos ang utak upang makapag-isip. Siguradong good day ka, kaibigan.
Ikalawa, magtala o gumawa ng sariling schedule. Mahalaga ang time management, kaibigan.
Itala ang mga subject na kinakailangan mong pag-aralan sa buong araw. Maglaan ng oras para sa mga ito.
Ikatlo, pumili ng lugar sa iyong pag-aaral. Focus!
Kailangan mo yan. Kaya nararapat na komportable
at tahimik na lugar ang iyong kalalagyan.
Huwag ring kalilimutang ipahinga ang utak.
Find time to relax upang handa ka muling mag-aral kinabukasan.
At iyan ang ating amazing tips, kaibigan.
Kahit new normal, tuloy pa rin ang pag-aaral.
TLE, Technology and Livelihood Education.
TLE Learning Area.
TLE Learning Area.
Automotive Servicing.
Beauty care.
Electronic Products Assembly and Servicing.
Cookery.
Electrical Installation and Maintenance.
Dressmaking.
Computer System Servicing.
Mga leksyong pangkabuhayan. Edukasyong teknolohikal.
Matutunghayan dito sa
106.3
Dance Radio. TLE Learning Area.
Technology and Livelihood Education.
Learn and earn.
Kayo nakikinig sa TLE Grade 8 kasama si Teacher Rufino R. Pomeda Jr.
I'm back! Now, turn your learning activity sheet on page 3, then answer activity number 1. Directions. There are 5 workplace hazards. Give at least 3 examples of each. I hope you listened carefully while back so that you can answer activity number 1. We will return after this break.
kaibigan, alam mo bang mayroong sinusunod na safety protocols na ibinigay ng Interagency Task Force para maiwasan ang COVID-19?
Tama ka dyan, kaibigan. Sa Doña Aurora National High School ay safe ka dahil sinusunod nila ang mga safety protocols gaya ng pagkuha ng temperatura ng katawan, pagsagot ng form para sa contact tracing, pagtapak sa footbath, palagi ang paghugas ng kamay at paggamit ng alcohol, pagsuot ng face mask at pagsunod ng 1 metrong distansya.
Laging tandaan, mapipigilan natin ang pagkalat ng COVID-19 pag atin susundin ang mga ito. Isang mensahe mula sa Kagawaran ng Kalusugan at ng himpilang ito.
TLE, Technology and Livelihood Education.
TLE Learning Area.
TLE Learning Area.
Automotive Servicing.
Beauty care.
Electronic Products Assembly and Servicing.
Cookery.
Electrical Installation and Maintenance.
Dressmaking.
Computer System Servicing.
Mga leksyong pangkabuhayan. Edukasyong teknolohikal.
Matutunghayan dito sa
106.3
Dance Radio. TLE Learning Area.
Technology and Livelihood Education.
Learn and earn.
Kayo nakikinig sa TLE Grade 8. Kasama si Teacher Rufino R. Pomeda Jr.
Back to our program. Are you done answering activity number 1? Yes! Excellent! Now, let's continue still on page 3 for our activity number 2. Make a slogan in relation to hazards and risks. These are the materials needed: pencil, oil paint or crayon, band paper and ruler. You may do this activity after this broadcast. Happy working, my dear learners! Our lesson helps us to identify hazards and risks and keep ourselves away from the different workplace hazards and other kind of hazards. We need to keep ourselves healthy, wealthy, and wise so that we can do all the things we can and keep away from sickness. Remember the acronym SAFE. S for stay, A for always, F is for fine, and E is for energetic. Stay always fine and energetic. Keep safe. I expect that you understood our lesson for today. Goodbye and have a nice day. Back to our host.
Wow! What a fun-filled lesson for today! Thank you, Teacher Rufino R. Pomeda Jr. Did you enjoy the lesson? Yes! Great! Let's do a recap. What is hazard? Correct! Hazard is something that can cause harm. How about risk? Precisely! Risk is a chance or probability that a person will be harmed. There are 5 basic workplace hazards. First, chemical hazard. These hazards includes liquid cleaners, acids and paints, vapors and fumes, gases such as carbon monoxide and products that can catch fire or explode. Second, physical hazard. This includes machinery, electrical power, noise and hand tools, working and walking surfaces, trip and fall hazards, ladle and scaffolds, heat and cold, and even ventilation. Third, biological hazard. Danger can come through these hazards are unclean restrooms, mold and fungus, bacteria, insect stings, animal bites, and also poorly stored medical waste. The fourth basic workplace hazard is an ergonomic hazard. Problems can come from
Poor lighting,
damaged chairs, lifting, repeated movements, and computer screens. Lastly is the psychological hazards. Those are basically causing stress to a worker. Workplace causes of stress include heavy workloads, lack of control over the pace of work, shift work, noise, working by yourself, fear of job loss, and conflict with the employer. These are also some example of hazards like knives, benzene, asbestos, electricity, wet floor, welding, and hard rock mining. What a wonderful lesson! Always keep SAFE. Safe. Your teacher will wait for your questions or queries about your lesson for today through text messages, messenger, and emails. Be ready again for our next lesson. Controlling hazards and risk. On behalf of the production team, we would like to acknowledge our scriptwriter, Teacher Mylene C. Mercado. This has been your host and technical specialist for today, Teacher Joy L. Madamba, saying, the key to safety is in your hands. Yes! Make it a habit to tune in here in our station, 106.3 DWDR-FM Dance Radio.
Where learning is amazing.
TLE, Technology and Livelihood Education.
TLE Learning Area.
TLE Learning Area.
Automotive Servicing.
Beauty care.
Electronic Products Assembly and Servicing.
Cookery.
Electrical Installation and Maintenance.
Dressmaking.
Computer System Servicing.
Mga leksyong pangkabuhayan. Edukasyong teknolohikal.
Matutunghayan dito sa
106.3
Dance Radio. TLE Learning Area.
Technology and Livelihood Education.
Learn and earn.
Dance Radio, siniparalan sa radyo, atid namin makabago, paraan ang pagtuturo.
Wala nang makakapigil pa. Sulong Arangkada 106.3 Dance Radio sa Aurora, Isabela.
Edukasyo'y susulong, basta't magtulong-tulong, sulong edukalidad. Dance Radio, learning is amazing.
Ayan, we're back, Ma'am Malve and Ma'am Dandit. So our lesson for today is identify hazards and risks. Good afternoon po ulit sa ating lahat. Our objectives for today, define hazard and risk, identify the types of hazards and risks, and appreciate the value of identifying hazards and risks. Last week, we discussed about the types of lubricant. Let's review last week topic, Ma'am Dandit.
Yes, Ma'am Mylene. Dear learners, let's have a quick review about the topic that we have last week. And we have prepared here some questions for you to answer. And don't forget to use the hashtag Usapang TLE, your grade, your section, and of course, the number and your answer. For question number 1, what do you call the substance that is introduced to lessen friction between moving surfaces? Letter A, grease. B, lubricant. C, solute. D, solvent. Okay. So, unahan na tayo sa pagsagot sa ating comment box or sa comment section. Sino kaya ang mauunang makasagot?
Yes, so don't forget to use hashtag Usapang TLE and then your grade and section. Okay, medyo wala pa, ma'am.
Okay,
typing pa lang, ma'am.
Busy pa lang silang mamili kung ano ang kanilang sagot. Okay, so ulitin natin, Ma'am Malben. The question is, what do you call the substance that is introduced to lessen friction between moving surfaces? A, grease. B, lubricant. C, solute. And D, solvent. Wala pa ba? Ay,
wala pa, ma'am.
Meron akong nakikita dito.
Meron
Try natin. Ay.
Meron na ba, ma'am?
Sana. Sino bang nauna? Balikan natin sino ang pinakauna. Okay, tama ba ang nakikita ko dito? Sino sa'yo, Ma'am Malbe?
Actually, ma'am, wala akong nakikita rito sa aking screen sa'yo.
Pero Aaron, pwede ka pang humabol sa pagsagot.
Okay, sa mga sasagot pa, please include the number of the question kasi meron pang mga susunod na questions mamaya.
Okay, so marami nang sumagot, pero ang nakita ko na tama ang kanyang sagot ay si Daniel Clyde Castillo of 8 Aquamarine.
Wow.
Hashtag Usapang TLE number 1, letter B. Tama ba ang kanyang sagot, Ma'am Malbe?
Yes, ma'am. So, the answer for number 1 is lubricant.
Okay.
Parang hindi ako maka-check ng comments ng ating mga learners ngayon, ma'am. Wala akong makita sa screen. So, for the meantime muna, ikaw muna, ma'am. Okay, let's proceed to question number 2. What do you call the component of a solution that dissolves solute and is usually present in large proportion or amount? So, same choices tayo. A, grease. B, lubricant. C, solute. And letter D, solvent.
Ayan.
Napakaganda, ma'am, kasi itong RBI natin magkasunod. So, for sure, fresh pa sa kanilang mga minds itong napag-aralan natin ng week 3. Meron na ba, Ma'am Dandit? Wala talaga akong makita dito.
Sige, ako na lang ang titingin. Tignan ko kung sino ang mas nauna na nagpakapagbigay ng tamang sagot. Okay? Aaron. Tignan ko muna, Aaron, kung ikaw nauna. Okay, so last na sumagot sa number 1, si Christine. Number 2 na nauna, si Chensen Batuyong ng 8 Tangerine.
Wow! Shout out 8 Tangerine sa akin yan, ma'am. Okay, congratulations!
Usapang TLE.
Chen.
Then, hashtag Usapang TLE, number and answer. So, ang sagot ay, of course, letter D. Solvent. Okay, so, alam kong natatandaan nyo pa na solvent ang sagot talaga dyan. Okay, so for our third question, may pangatlo pa tayo mga anak, kaya pabilisan. Yan, so for our third question, give an example of lubricant. Okay, I repeat, give an example of lubricant. Sige, tignan na naman natin kung sino ang mananalo. So that is number 3 already, ha? ilagay nyo pa rin yung hashtag usapang TLE, your grade and section, and of course, your answer.
Kahit isa lang ba ang sasagot nila dyan,
Yes,
ma'am?
can be.
Okay. Kung ano yung... Yes.
Pakilagyan ng number, mga anak.
Meron na ba, ma'am?
Meron yung nauna kaso wala siyang nilagay na number. Wala siyang number 3. Sayang, Aaron.
Okay, pwede mo pang i-type, Aaron.
Okay. Meron sagot si Gerson Marinay.
Anong sagot?
8 Crimson. Ang sagot niya is 3 anti-rust lubricant. Ayan. So, Gerson, congratulations. And then, meron pa ba tayong pang-apat na question, Ma'am Maylene? Do we have still our fourth question?
Yes, ma'am. Congratulations sa mga nanalo na 8 aquamarine, 8 tangerine ba, Ma'am Malbe?
Yes, ma'am. 8 tangerine and...
Kay Gerson. Congratulations sa inyong tatlo. For our fourth question, what are the 3 R's that are missing in the 5S approach in workshop keeping? So, nakalagay na rito ang 2, 3 lang, mga anak, ang inyong isasagot. Do not forget, hashtag usapang TLE, then your answer, your grade, and section. So, 3 yung magiging sagot dyan, Ma'am Malbe and Ma'am Dandir.
Yes, ma'am. So, ang hinihingi mo bang sagot dyan, ma'am, is the Japanese term? Kasi ang binigay mo is Shitsuke and Seiton. Acceptable
Yes,
ba, ma'am,
ma'am.
kung English term ang isasagot
It should
nila?
be Japanese term.
Okay, Japanese
according to
term
Ma'am
daw
Maylene.
po.
Japanese term, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, so, sino na naman kaya ang mananalo dito?
Wala pa rin akong nakikita, ma'am.
Yan! Ay, tama ba?
Ano yung sagot niya, ma'am?
Ano dito is si Daniel Clyde ng 8 Aquamarine. Tignan natin kung tama ba. Ma'am Maylene, ang sagot niya ay
English term.
Sayang.
Ayan, ay pakita.
Ma'am, bakit mo nirinig? O, tignan pa natin yung sumunod.
Bumalik ako.
Ay, Gerson, isa lang anak. 3 yun.
Okay, 3 ang hinahanap natin.
Isa lang
Aside
yung
from
naibigay ni,
Shitsuke and Seiton, what are the 3 other Japanese terms
What are
for
the
the
other
5S?
Yes. Ang sagot lang kasi ni Gerson is Seiketsu. Oh, isa
Ay,
lang
Seiketsu.
naman, anak. 2 pa sana para 3. Yan. Wala na ba? Wala na bang sasagot? Ay, nag-stop sila. O wala na rin akong Ma'am Malbe.
Wala na akong nakikita, ma'am. Kanina pa.
Ay, ayan. Tignan ko yung sagot ni ano. Eto, ano to? Sagot ni ano. Sagot ni Elizabeth Mendoza Fernandez. Anak, yung spelling mo ng ano, Seiri, Seiso, and Seiketsu. Wrong spelling lang yung ano niya, ma'am, yung Seiri niya. Tatanggapin ba natin yon?
Ma'am Maylene?
Siguro sa pagmamadali niya to. Ma'am Maylene.
Pwede niyang i-retype yan, ma'am. Ayusin lang yan yung kanyang spelling, Ma'am
Okay,
Dandit.
Elizabeth, habol pa daw, anak.
Habol ka, anak.
Okay, Gerson. Yung iba naman kasi English and hinalo yung Japanese. Si Seiso, Seiri. Mali yung ibang sagot nila. 3 yung ito ang tama. Ito na ba? Tama. Naduduling na ako. Ang sagot ni Aaron Kurt de Vera, 8 Crimson ulit. Yan, mga anak ko sa Crimson talagang nakikisali sila. Ang sagot niya ay Seiketsu, tama ba? Seiri and Seiso.
Okay, congratulations!
Aaron Kurt de Vera.
Wow. Sa'yo ba tong Crimson, ma'am?
Yes, nakadalawang
Wow.
Crimson na ako. Hi, mga anak, hanggang matapos ha, sumali kayo at manood. Ayan. Okay. So, Ma'am Maylene?
Yes, congratulations again sa mga nanalo. 8 Aquamarine, kay Gerson, thank you very much. 8 Crimson, at yung kay Ma'am Malbe.
Yes, 8 Tangerine.
Malbe.
Yes, ma'am. Si 8
congratulations.
Tangerine, si Chenzen Batuyong. Congratulations.
Yes, so these are our 5S approach. We have the Seiso, Sitsuke. We have also Seiketsu, Seiri, and Seiton. Okay, so yan yung 5 approach natin. Okay, so we have already learned about lubricant, about solvent, and the uses of solvent and its example. We have already known also the 5S approach in workshop keeping. Now, we will identify hazards and risks. Are you ready? Just comment yes na yes, mga anak, sa ating comment section kung ready na tayo. Yan. Identify hazards and risks. Okay? Let's take a look about the pictures. Yan, may mga pictures tayo dito, mga anak. Determine if the given pictures are hazardous or not. Answer yes if it is, and no if it is not. Ayan na naman, Ma'am Dandit.
Yes, so learners, determine if the given pictures are hazardous or not. Answer yes if it is, and no if it is not. So answer is yes and no. And don't forget, of course, again, to place the hashtag Usapang TLE, grade, your section, and of course, your answer. And those who are listening over the radio, I will describe to you the given pictures. So, for picture number 1, electrical connection are not in proper place with, of course, multiple connection. For picture number 2, overfilled garbage bin. And for picture number 3, leaking LPG tank. So you are going to analyze if they are hazard or not. Take note. Your answer is either yes or no. What about for number 4?
Okay, for number 4, ay bago pala po ang lahat, yung 6 po ay pwede nyong isend ng isa-isa ba, Ma'am Maylin, or sabayan na lahat? Sa isang tao lang. Ma'am?
Pwedeng sabayan na lahat.
Okay, sabayan na lahat.
Ano lang naman ang isasagot nila.
Okay, we will describe, or I will describe the picture for number 4. Meron diyang cute na baby. A baby is reaching for the sharp knife on the table. And number 6 is a wet floor. Ayan. Yes. Ay, number 5. Nalampasan natin yung number 5. Napapanahon pa naman ito. Sneezing or coughing without covering your mouth and nose. And number 6, wet floor. Okay, you can comment your answer for numbers 1 to 6 in the comment section.
Ayan.
Okay.
So, kailangan bantayan ko na naman ito, Ma'am.
Yes, yes or no only.
Yes or no, 1 to 6. Yan. Sino kaya ang mananalo na naman dyan? So, ready mo yung Ma'am Malbe, paglistahan natin. Baka mamaya makalimutan natin kung sino yung mga nanalo. Ayan. Wala pa akong nakikita.
Yes.
So, tignan natin. Ay! Mga anak, 6. 6 na agad yung iano nyo. Kasi yes or no lang naman ang itatype nyo.
Okay, ma'am, patingin nga kung tama tayo. Meron na naman kasi akong nakita rito. For si Aaron, siya rin ba yung una mong nakikita dyan, ma'am?
Kaya lang,
Nasunod-sunod?
number 1 on.
1 to 6.
Sino yan?
So, si Aaron Kurt De Vera. Ang sagot niya po ay hashtag Usapang TLE. Siyempre, A Crimson again. 1 to 6. Ang sagot po niya ay yes. Tama ba, Ma'am Maylin?
Tama, yes,
ma'am. Puro yes lahat ng sagot ng number 1 hanggang number 6.
Yan, napaka-active talaga ng ating 8 Crimson.
Lavender, purple, and tangerine. Wag papatalo.
Crimson ha, pabilisan mga anak. Kailangan kayong lagi ang mauna. Yan, talunin natin sila.
Shout out din sa aking mga 8 Ivory, 8 Aquamarine. Habol din kayo mga anak.
Yes. Sumali
Okay.
kayo para mas lalo ninyong maintindihan yung lesson. Makinig mga anak hanggang sa matapos yung topic natin ngayong hapon. Ayan. So, meron lang nanalo.
Ma'am, ang cute
Meron
ng
pa.
comment ni Aaron Kurt. Ganun daw, finger love.
Yan,
Para sa'yo
love na
din,
love
Kurt.
Oo.
Ma'am Aileen?
Okay. Yes, congratulations sa inyong lahat. Antabayanan ninyo kami mga anak hanggang matapos ang ating episode, Okay. So for number 1, bakit kaya hazardous? Bakit kaya yes? Okay, for number 1, that is a multiple connection wires. And na makikita natin, overload siya. So, bakit siya hazardous? Because it can cause fire. Kapag nag-overheat yan mga anak, it can cause fire. And as well as extension cords not in proper place, this can cause slip or fall. To avoid risk, we must not to practice multiple connection and it must be in proper places. Okay, for number 2, overflowing of garbages from the garbage bin. Not disposing of garbage every day. So, yung tao na nandyan, hindi siya nagdi-dispose or nagtatapon ng basura araw-araw. So, nag-overflow na siya. This can cause the area odorous and there is a possibility that it attracts rodents like rats. If these rats leave their droppings or urine, pag malanghap mo ito, magkakaroon ka ng serious respiratory disease or sometimes magkakaroon ka ng skin irritation and it affects our health. Okay? For number 3, 6 pictures, why they are considered hazardous. I-explain naman ng mga dear learners natin, Ma'am Malbe and Ma'am Dandit, bakit kasi hazardous na yes na hazardous ang number 3 hanggang number 6. So, ang kuwan na lang ngayon, Ma'am Malbe and Ma'am Dandit, pili na lang sila ng isa.
Yes.
Yeah. Just include the number.
Number
Yes.
na rin, then explain nyo.
Oo.
Yung oras na. So, ayan. So, mag-aantay kami ng mga sagot nyo mga anak, Bilisan ninyo. So, mamili lang kayo dun sa picture, lagyan nyo ng number, and then explain bakit hazardous yun. So, tapos na yung 1 and 2, so doon na kayo sa 3 to 6. Okay. So, while waiting, Ma'am Maylin.
Parang may nakasagot na yata, Ma'am Dandit.
Wala pa akong nakita. Ay, ito. Sino to?
Si Joseph
Yes,
Ralph
Ralph Sadia. Number 3. Gasolines naman yung sabi niya, ma'am.
Okay.
Oh, si Daniel Clyde Castillo.
Daniel.
Number 3, it will cause explosion.
Yes.
Yan. Ay,
Yes, ma'am.
sa akin ba to? Ay, hindi. Aquamarine.
Aquamarine.
pala.
Aquamarine.
Crimson.
Sa akin yan, Ma'am
Ay,
Dandit. Yes.
Akala ko, crimson, ma'am. Okay, next ay number 3 din kasi yung sinagot ni Kurt, ma'am. Pero meron naman na tayong na sumagot doon. Basahin ko lang, sabi niya, because it can be poisonous for your health and
cause siguro to. Can cause fire.
Ayan. Tama rin yung sagot ni Kurt. Kaya lang
sige, ma'am.
Ano, ma'am? Decision mo.
Sige, ma'am. Bigyan na natin si Kurt ba, ma'am? Kurt?
Consider. Panalo na naman ulit si Kurt na
Nakatatlo na siya, ma'am.
Crimson. Wow, Kurt,
Yes,
napaka-active
Kurt.
ng hapon.
Nakakapag-ipon na ang ating mga learners.
Okay, so parang wala pa, ma'am. So habang nag-aantay tayo, ano na ang gagawin natin, Ma'am Maylin? Habang nag-aantay tayo, kasi wala pa kaming makita dito na nagko-comment ng mga bata.
Yes, mga anak, there are some examples or reminders for us na huwag natin itong ipagwalang bahala. So we have already identified hazardous examples. So let us now define hazard. A hazard is something that can cause harm. Kapag sinasabi nating harm is a physical injury or damage to health. We showed pictures determining the condition or situation that are hazardous that can cause harm. So kanina, nagpakita tayo ng 6 na pictures, Ma'am Dandit and Ma'am Malbe, that can cause harm. And of course, na-determine na rin natin kanina kung ano yung risk na magkakaroon tayo kapag nagkaroon tayo ng hazard na ito or nasalubong natin or nagkaroon tayo ng accident na nag-cause sa atin ng harm. So, we have already defined hazard, something that can cause harm. How about risk, Ma'am Dandit?
Okay, so risk is the chance or probability that a person will be harmed or experience an adverse health effect once exposed to a hazard. So example of this is that if you are going to crossing the street, you must look first at your left and to your right if there are passing vehicles. Ayan.
That's right, Ma'am Dandit. So it's good that you have mentioned to look left and right before crossing the street. Ma'am, maybe our learners are wondering, why do we need to look first to the left and not to the right? Ma'am Mylene, what is the reason behind? Ma'am Mylene, why do we need to look for left before right while before crossing the street?
Kailangan natin talagang left muna then right para yung mga makikita natin sa left, that is a standard procedure, yung Ma'am Malbe. We need to, of course, stop, look, and listen first to the left and to the right.
That's right, ma'am. Okay, let's proceed. So, we have already defined. Ay, meron na ba tayong mga nakasagot, ma'am?
So, may
baka may waiting tayo na mga learners dyan.
Hanggang number 4 pa lang. So, for number 4, ayan. Si Mac Aaron Acupido. 8 Socrates. Hashtag usapang TLE. Number 4, because it may be cut the baby's skin. Tama ba, Ma'am Eileen? Yung picture
yes, Ma'am Dandit.
Okay, so ilis ka na. Mark Aaron Acupido ng 8 Socrates.
Nakakatuwa, no, ma'am? Even our special class, nakikiparticipate sila dito sa lesson ng mga nasa BEP. So, shout out sa inyo. Doon din sa mga nasa higher area level, just like grade 9 and grade 10, if you want to answer or participate in our live discussion, you can send us your answers.
Yan. So, walang pinipiling sumagot.
Yes.
Everybody is welcome.
Okay, meron pa ba, ma'am? Wala na. Okay, so let's proceed. We have already defined hazard and risk. And now, let's have an example of hazard. So, we have here an example of hazard. Number 1 is the electricity. A tangled cord can cause fire to death. So, yan yung nasa isang picture natin dyan. Next, we have the chemicals. And the third one is working from ladder, stress, noise, and bully at work.
Yes, Ma'am Malbe. So, these are some examples of hazard. We need to identify hazards and risk factors that have the potential to cause harm. We need also to analyze and evaluate the risk associated with that hazard to determine appropriate ways to eliminate the hazard or control the risk when we cannot eliminate that hazard. So, how do we control or eliminate workplace hazards? First, know a real hazard when you see one. Understand who and how people might be harmed. Another is evaluate the hazards and decide on control measures. Record all your potential hazard. And of course, periodically review and update your hazard assessment. And wearing also of PPE. Ano yung PPE natin? That is the personal protective equipment, can also control the hazard. So, kailangan talaga everyday checking in our working area. O kahit nandito tayo sa bahay, we need to check also everyday. Yung basura, naitapon na ba? Yung ating mga electricity as well as yung mga wires natin, kailangan din nating i-check. Okay? So, there are 5 also workplace hazard. So, nagbigay na naman tayo ng activity, Ma'am Dandit and Ma'am Malbe. Maraming activity ngayon. Masayang-masayang mga learners ngayon. Ma'am Dandit and
Yes,
Ma'am
ma'am.
Malbe. So, there are 5 workplace hazard. I hope so, nakinig sila kanina sa ating RBI. Masasagot nila ito, Ma'am Malbe and Ma'am Dandit. But, you must to have delete. Ito yung activity natin. May nakikita tayong mata and then delete. Yan. Talagang makikita mo, you're going to identify, search the 5 workplace hazards by delisting the letters X, W, Z. So, kailangan na talaga nga nating i-delete yung X na yan, ano? Ma'am Malbe and Ma'am Dandit.
Yes.
And of course, W and Z. Okay. So, for number 1.
Okay, for number 1, ang i-delete lang uli nila, ma'am, is the X, W, and Z.
Okay. Yes, dear learners, you're just going to delete the letter X, W, and Z for you to look for the 5 workplace hazard. And that is already the number 1.
Okay, for number 1, meron na akong nakita.
Ay, ang bilis.
Tama ba, ma'am? Pareho ba?
Sino ang nakita mo dyan?
From 8 Socrates, yun din ba yung nauuna sa inyong screen, ma'am?
8 Socrates.
8 Socrates,
Yes.
si Joseph Ralph Sadiwa.
Yes, siya rin ang
Hashtag usapang TLE, number 1,
Is
chemical. Congratulations.
Okay,
Oh,
for number
Socrates.
2.
Yan. Ay! Ayan. Sino kaya ang makakakuha sa number 2?
Okay, for number 2. O,
Tingnan
puro
natin.
number 1 pa lang.
Number 1 pa lang ang nandito sa amin, ma'am. For number... Ay, walang number ito. Sayang. Anak, lagyan ng number.
Yes, Daniel Clyde, pwede mong i-type
Okay,
ulit.
pero ang sumunod ulit sa kanya si Joseph.
Ralph
Sadiwa ng 8
Sadiwa.
Socrates. Joseph, ang bilis mo namang mag-type
Yes.
na.
Active na active ang ating
Ayan.
8 Socrates
So, answer niya
learners.
ay physical. Tama ba, ma'am? Physical?
Yes.
Ay, nawala na.
Maylin? Yes.
Physical.
So,
Dandit.
tama.
Okay.
So, what about the third one, ma'am? Ready na sila. Nag-aabang na. Nagmamadali na sila.
Okay, for number 3.
Ay, wala pa. Puro number 2 pa lang ang nandito na nakikita ko. Ayan. Ano kaya yung number 3? Alisin lang yung X, Z,
May nakita
S,
na ako,
W.
ma'am.
Ay, ba't wala sa akin?
Okay, ang bilis
Nag-stop
mag-type
na
ni
siya.
Daniel Clyde Castillo. Hashtag usapang TLE number 3, biological.
Castillo
From
Clyde.
Aquamarine.
Ay, shout out sa mga 8 Crimson. Anak, inuunahan na tayo. Bilisan nyo mag-type.
Parang nawala na yung aking 8 tangerine.
Para ako din. Asan na ang mga pag-asa kong 8 Crimson?
Okay, biological kay ano yun, ma'am? Kay
ano?
Daniel Clyde.
Clyde Castillo.
And for number 4, ma'am? Number 4 na ba yan, ma'am?
Number 4. Tingnan natin.
Yes, ma'am. Number
Yes,
4.
tignan namin.
Ay, number 3 pa lang itong mga to.
Ma'am, may nakita
Number
na uli
4.
ako.
4. Daniel ulit.
Yes, napaka-active. Parang gusto ko nang kunin si Daniel.
Daniel, ikaw na naman ulit. Ang bilis mo naman, anak. So, answer niya is ergonomic.
Meron pa ba, mama?
Okay.
Ma'am?
Okay, for number 5. 5. O, last na yan, mga anak. Ano
Yes,
kaya
for number
yan?
5.
O, wala pa.
Ay, nahuli si Shenzhen.
Marami ding sumagot ng tama, kaya lang, ito ang nauna. Ay, walang number. Eto, ay, Jensen, tignan mo yung kanya, sagot niya.
Meron na ba, Ma'am Dandit?
Okay. Dalawa sila, pero yung
Sino?
spelling bee, tignan mo. Okay, so ang nakakuha ng tama ay tama ba sa'yo? Pareho tayo?
Sino dyan, ma'am?
Sumunod, si Christine. Sumunod kay
Okay,
Jensen.
si Christine.
Yung kay Jensen kasi anak na ano yung spelling mo, may hindi ka na ilagay na
Letter.
Sayang.
Bago
Nagmadali
to
ka
si
siguro.
Christine Agustin. Okay lang daw
Hey,
na wrong spelling yung crimson niya, ma'am. Basta yung sagot niya ay tama.
Yung sagot niya ang tama, pero yung section niya nagmadali siya, wala nang
Yes.
S. Ayan. So, psychological ang tamang sagot doon. Nagmadali lang kasi si Jensen, kaya hindi niya nailagay yung H. Okay? Meron pa naman mga katanungan, mga anak, so huwag kayong mag-alala. May pagkakataon pa kayong manalo. Yan.
Okay, congratulations sa mga nakasagot. Now we have it. We have our chemical hazards, physical hazards, as well as biological, ergonomic, and the psychological hazards. Okay, so first is our chemical hazards. A chemical hazard is a substance that has the potential to cause harm to life or death. This includes liquids such as cleaners, acids and paints, vapors and fumes such as welding fumes, gases such as carbon monoxide, and products that can catch fire or explode. So, last week, we have a different kind of cleaning solvents na isabi na sa atin yan ni Ma'am Dandit. So, kerosene. So, kerosene ito. Kerosene is one example of a cleaning solvent. We use it in cleaning dust, grease, oil, paint, and others. We must store in indoors because this is flammable liquids. Storage cabinet, store it in a proper container with seal to avoid exposure. Exposure of this can cause burns and as well as itching of the skin with rust, sometimes headache, dizziness, and in high exposure of this cleaning solvent, kerosene, may damage the kidneys. So, kapag may, palagi mo daw nalalanghap itong kerosene na ito, mga anak, it damage our kidneys. And, of course, kapag medyo hindi natin naitabi sa tamang lalagyan, natapon, ano ang mangyayari? Magkakaroon ito ng sunog. Okay. Another example, sa loob ng ating bahay, nakikita natin ang example dyan. Sa mga kaway-kaway, sa mga 10 cookery ko na mahilig magluto, ano na yung picture number 1 natin? Naglilik na, liquefied petroleum gas. Nako anak, delikado ito before and after na magluluto tayo, we need to close it. And of course, wag nating pabayaan itong naka-open lang. Ano yung maaaring risk na may dulot sa atin? Mawawalan na tayo ng bahay, mag-e-explode ito because of fire, then magkakaroon pa mawawalan pa tayo ng buhay. Okay, so these are some example of chemical hazards. Another is sa mga kaway-kaway din, sa mga mahilig mag-experiments dyan, sa ating mga laboratories, yung mga chemicals natin, be careful. Do not forget to use your PPE always. Always wear our personal protective equipment. Ma'am Dandit?
Okay, for the number 2, we have the physical hazard. So physical hazards are factors or conditions within the environment that can harm. Physical hazards are substances or activities that threaten our physical body. They are the most common and are present in most workplaces at one time or another. Examples, unguarded machinery, electrical power, constant loud noise, power and hand tools, working and walking surfaces, trip and fall hazards, working from ladders, scaffolding or heights, and heat and cold ventilation. This unsafe condition can cause injury, illness, and death. It is necessary that we must be extra careful to avoid physical injuries. Safety practices is one way to avoid body-stressing injuries.
Tama, Ma'am Dandit, that's right. So, Ma'am Maylin and Ma'am Dandit, do you have pets at home?
Yes, of course, Ma'am. Lahat
Yes,
tayo.
Ma'am.
Yes, so I'm sure our learners are also fond of petting animals at home. Sino ba naman ang hindi? But remember, you must be very careful, especially in dealing around ticks, mouse trappings, bird poop, and wild animals. Because you might get sick from working around certain animals at hindi lang po sa animals, including the people. So, yun. So, our third basic workplace hazard is the biological hazards. Ayan, nakikita natin sa screen. These include bacteria, viruses, insects, plants, birds, and animals, and human. The risks run from skin irritation and allergies to infection. Yun naman yung nakukuha natin na risk. We are experiencing pandemic. So ngayon to, we must be very extra careful not to be affected by the virus.
So what are the recommended practices once we're back home after outdoor activities, Ma'am Malbe?
Yes, ma'am. So we need to practice a thorough hand hygiene. So that is washing our hands with soap and water or using alcohol-based hand gel. This should be performed before touching surfaces, items, pets, or people within the household environment. So meron akong tanong, Ma'am Dandit, before preparing or eating food, is it important to wash your hands?
Yes, before preparing and eating food, it is very important to always wash our hands regularly for at least 40 to 60 seconds, especially when we hold dirty objects, Ma'am Malbe.
Yes.
How many minutes is 60 seconds?
Yes, ma'am. So, alam na ang ating mga estudyante niyan. That is 1 minute, ma'am. So, now, if I wash my hands 5 times a day, siguro, i-compute nila to, no?
Yes.
How many minutes did I consume in washing my hands? Kunwari, 5 times a day lang. You can comment in our comment section. Ang daming pasagot ni Ma'am Maylin pala. And don't forget to use hashtag usapang TLE. If 60 seconds is equal to 1 minute, pag 5 times naman, ilan daw? How many minutes ang mako-consume natin? So, pwede nyong i-drop ang inyong sagot sa ating comment section. Okay, let's proceed. Regular food safety and handling guidance should be followed. We need also to stay safe by taking some simple precautions such as physical distancing, wearing a mask, especially when distancing cannot be maintained. Pero syempre, dapat i-maintain natin tong physical distancing. Keeping rooms well ventilated and avoiding crowds and close contact. That is how we can protect ourselves and others, especially if we don't know who is or who are infected. Ma'am Maylin?
Yes, Ma'am Malbe, lubos-lubusin na natin ngayon, Ma'am Malbe, habang hinihintay natin kung ano ang sagot nila sa iyong katanungan. Okay. And according sa ating latest data about COVID cases here in Cagayan Valley, we have now 127,000 total cases here in Cagayan Valley. Kaya stay safe always. Okay? So, our fourth basic hazard is an ergonomic hazards. This happens when we are working in long periods in an awkward positions or having to make the same position over and over again. Ergonomic hazards are physical conditions that may pose risk of injury to the musculoskeletal system. Musculoskeletal system system includes bones, our skeleton, muscles, tendons, ligaments, joints, and soft tissues. They work together to support your body's weight and help you move. So injuries, disease, and aging can cause pain, stiffness, and other problem and function. Dito naman, kapag nagkaroon tayo ng pababa, pataas, if we are working on a ladder, maybe, kung minsan, sumasakit ang ating mga paa. Okay? And as well as being exposed in a computer screen for a long period, considered an ergonomic. This is also considered as an ergonomic hazard. Paalala mga anak, sa mga mahilig magbabad sa mga gadgets natin, ang risk dito ay magkakaroon tayo ng visual fatigue. O kaya, it can affect your eyesight. So, you will going to experience visual fatigue. Okay, kaya ako, mga anak, Ma'am Malbe, Ma'am Dandig, kung minsan pag medyo napapagod na tong mga mata ko, ang ginagawa ko, lumalabas ako, tumitingin ako sa mga punong kahoy. Nakakatulong daw ito makapag-refresh ng mata. Another is kapag nagkaroon tayo ng poor lighting. You cannot do your work as fast as you can. Okay, may nanalo na ba, Ma'am Tandit?
Hi. Ano yung tanong mo, Ma'am Maribel? Ano yung
Hello, Ma'am
Tandit. If I wash my hands 5 times a day, how many minutes did I consume in washing my hands?
Okay, so...
Yes, 5 minutes.
Wala pa, ma'am.
Wala pa. Okay, so...
Okay. Proceed na tayo, Ma'am Dandy.
Okay, so bago ko i-start yung 5th, basic workplace hazard, correction dun sa sinabi ko kanina, dun sa physical hazard na constant loud noise. It should be constant loud noise. Ayan, namali ako sa pag-pronounce dun sa loud, mga anak. Ayan. So for number 5, so we have the psychological hazard. Ayan, nakita natin sa screen yung psychological hazard. This kind of hazard troubles an individual very much to an extent that his general well-being is affected. So, example, we have stress. So, stress leads to a long-term health problem. Headaches, anxiety, and impatience are early signs of stress. Workplace cause of stress include heavy workloads, lack of control over the pace of work, shift work, noise, working by yourself, fear of job loss, and conflict with the employer. Mental health is very important at every stage of life, from childhood and adolescence through adulthood and aging. It affects how we think, feel, and act as we cope with life. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. So that is number 5, Ma'am Malbe.
Yes, ma'am. So, bago tayo mag-proceed, meron na akong nakitang nanalo, ma'am, si Gerson Marinay from 8 Crimson. So, ang sagot niya is 5 minutes. Congratulations! 8 Crimson na ma'am. Okay, so we have already learned the 5 basic workplace hazards. So, number 1, we have the chemical hazard. Next is physical, biological, and ergonomic, and psychological. So, we need to identify hazards and risk factors that have the potential to cause harm. We need also to analyze and evaluate risks associated with the hazard to determine appropriate ways to eliminate the hazard or control the risk. So, meron tayong pictures dyan, Ma'am Maylin, tama ba?
Tatlo?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am. Meron tayong isang picture dito, Mama Malbe. Ang gagawin nila, they will identify, sasabihin nila kung ito ay chemical hazard, biological hazard. Pili lang sila sa 5 basic hazard natin. So, this is now the picture. Yan. Nakikita natin, medyo madilim. Ma'am Malbe, Ma'am Dandit, medyo madilim.
Kaya nga ma'am, hindi ko makita. Ano yan? Ang dilim-dilim.
Ang dilim-dilim.
Baka pwedeng,
Okay, you can comment your answer in our comment box. Kasi parang medyo kinukulang na tayo ng time, Ma'am Maylin.
Yes, i-reveal ko na, Ma'am Malbe. Ano kaya ito? Yan, this is an example of ergonomic hazard. Okay? So, congratulations lahat ng mga nanalo, mga anak, congratulations. Our lesson helps us to identify hazards and risks and keep up ourselves from the different workplace hazards and some kind of hazards na makikita natin around the area. So, what should we do to keep ourselves away from the sickness or from sickness para hindi tayo magkasakit? And how can we identify hazard in the workplace, Ma'am Dandit?
Okay, so by thoroughly investigating incidents and reports, we can identify hazards that are likely to cause future harm. Another is conduct regular worksite inspections. Walk through the worksite and visually assess the types of equipment, work practices, and any potential hazards that could be harmful to workers. And how can we say that we are at risk, Ma'am Malbe?
Yes, Ma'am Dandit. So, to be at risk, it means to be in a situation where something unpleasant might happen. So, we are in a dangerous situation or status. So, another question, why is it important to identify hazards and risks in a workplace, Ma'am Maylin?
Yes, Ma'am Malbe, it is very important to identify hazards in the workplace so that we can assess the risk, we can control or eliminate the risk for us to be safe always. So, meron tayong acronym dito na SAFE, Ma'am Malbe and Ma'am Dandit. Remember, SAFE. S for stay, A for always, F for fine, and E for energetic. Stay always fine and energetic. Keep safe. And of course, do not forget mga anak to answer our reflection. What have you learned from the lesson? Ma'am Dandit and Ma'am Malbe, marami naman siguro tayong natutunan ngayong araw na ito. Of course, do not forget also to answer our validating question, and nakapost na ito sa ating FB. How do you differentiate hazard from risk, and as well as how do you characterize the basic workplace hazard? Okay? Let us consider this saying, tomorrow is the reward for working safety today. Keep safe everyone. Ma'am Dandit and Ma'am Malbe, may sasabihin pa ba tayo?
Yes, ma'am. So, don't forget to answer ang tanong dun sa ating, na nakapost na sa ating Facebook page. May mga sumagot na kasi this is posted last Wednesday, nung time, after RBI sana natin. Nakapost na siya. And don't forget to mention your TLE teachers. Mention your TLE teachers para ma-check ang inyong mga sagot, and also include your grade and section. Another reminders po, so last na natin ito, ma'am, sa ating EIM. So next week, iba na yung i-discuss natin ibang module na naman sa TLE, which is, ano yun, ma'am?
Grade 7 na next week.
Ay, grade 7, tama, iba na pala. Next, shift 1 uli yata tayo.
Shift 2 ulit
Okay.
ang mga grade 8.
Okay, next announcement po, we have distribution and retrieval sa Monday. So, na-move siya, Monday na po.
So, make sure mga anak na naka-ready na ang inyong mga output para makapag-submit kayo sa Monday.
Yes.
Yan, para ma-check na ng inyong mga subject teacher ang inyong mga sagot para magkaroon na kayo ng grade 4 first quarter. Okay. So, thank you very much kay Sir Joshel and kay Sir Dennis at sa ating bisita na nandito.
Thank you so much po.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Bye. We must stay safe.
TLE, Technology and Livelihood Education. TLE, Learning Area, Automotive Servicing, Beauty Care, Electronics Product Assembly and Servicing, Cookery, Electrical Installation and Maintenance, Dressmaking, Computer System Servicing, mga leksyong pangkabuhayan, edukasyong teknolohikal, mapapakinggan dito lang yan sa 106.3 Dance Radio. TLE, Learn and Earn. Ito ang 106.3 Dance Radio. Dance Radio.
Prepare yourself.
Ang silid-aralan sa radyo, hatid namin ay makabagong paraan ng pagtuturo at kalaman. Mapaumaga, tanghali o hapon man yan, ang istasyong magbibigay impormasyon kahit saan man.
Alright, here we go.
106.3 Dance Radio. Doña Aurora National High School, Santa Rita, Aurora, Isabela.
This
106.3 DWBR FM.